Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel Read with Rizwan. In the last video, we discussed about the sectors of Indian economy and how they are helping to develop the GDP of the country. As you know, there are three different sectors of Indian economy. They are primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Primary sector includes agriculture and ground related work, whereas secondary sector is about manufacturing, is also known as industrial sector, and finally the tertiary sector can be called as a service sector. In today's topic we will be learning about rising importance of tertiary sector in production. Why is the tertiary sector becoming so important in India? There could be several reasons. First, in any country, several services such as hospitals, educational institutions, post, telegraph services, police stations, courts, village administrative offices, municipal corporations, insurance companies, etc., are required. These can be considered as basic services. In a developing country, the government has to take responsibility for the provision of these services. Second, the development of agriculture and industry leads to the development of such as transport, trade, storage, and the like, as we have already seen. Third, as income level rise, certain sections of people start demanding many more services like eating out, tourism, shopping, private hospitals, private schools, professional training, etc. Fourth, over the past decade or so, certain new services such as those based on information and communication technology have become important and essential. Service sector in India employs many different kinds of people. At one end, there are limited number of services that employ highly skilled and educated workers. These people barely manage to earn a living and yet they perform these services because no alternative opportunities for work are available to them. Hence, only a part of this sector is growing in importance. In the next topic, where are most of the people employed? While production in the service sector rose by more than 14 times, employment in the service sector rose around 5 times. As a result, more than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector, mainly in the agriculture, producing only a quarter of the GDP. What it means is that there are more people in agriculture than is necessary. So even if you move out few people, production will not be affected. In other words, workers in agriculture sector are underemployed. Let's know this with the example. For instance, take the case of a small farmer Lakshmi owning about 2 hectares of unirrigated land, dependent only on rain and growing crops like jowar and arhar. All 5 members of her family work in the plot throughout the year. Why? They have nowhere else to go for work. You will see that everyone is working, none remains idle, but in actual fact their labor effort gets divided. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. This is the situation of underemployment, where people are apparently working, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. This kind of underemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and clearly visible as unemployment. Hence, it is also called as disguised unemployment. For example, one who has highly educated but working lower than his potential can be called as a disguised unemployed. There are lakhs of farmers like Lakshmi in India. This underemployment can happen in other sectors as well. For example, there are thousands of casual workers in the service sector in urban areas who search for daily employment. They may spend the whole day but earn very little. So, how to create more employment? That's the question. Take the case of Lakshmi with her 2-hectare plot of unirrigated land. The government can spend some money or banks can provide a loan to construct a well for her family to irrigate the land. Lakshmi will then be able to irrigate her land and take a second crop. Now suppose Lakshmi and other farmers produce much more than before, they would also need to sell some of this. For this, they may be required to transport their products to a nearby town. Another way by which we can tackle this problem is to identify, promote and locate industries and services in semi-rural areas where a large number of people may be employed. For example, opening a cold storage could give an opportunity for farmers to store their products like potatoes and onions and sell them when the price is good. In villages near forest areas, we can start honey collection centers where farmers can come and sell wild honey. It is also possible to set up industries that process vegetables and fruits. This will provide employment in industries. Do you know that in India, about 46% of the population belongs to the age group 5 to 29 years. Out of these, only 52% are attending educational institutions. The rest are not. They may be at home or they may be working as a child laborers. If these children are to attend schools, we will require more buildings, more teachers and other staff. A study conducted by erstwhile Planning Commission estimates that nearly 20 lakh jobs can be created in the education sector alone, and this can be done even in health sector as well. The same study by the Planning Commission says that if tourism as a sector is improved, every year we can give additional employment to more than 35 lakh people. We must realize that some of the suggestions discussed above would take a long time to implement. For the short time, we need some quick measures. The central government in India made a law implementing the right to work in about 625 districts of India. It is called Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which is known as Manrega 2005. Under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, all those who are able to and are in need of work are guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year by the government. If the government fails in its duty to provide employment, it will give unemployment allowances to the people. The types of work that would in future help to increase the production from land will be given preference. So once the farmer is out of the work, he will be or she will be enrolled in the Manrega and will be provided 100 days of work by the government. That's it for the day. Hope you like the video. Please subscribe the channel and send your valuable suggestions in the comment box. Thanks a lot.